Uh, Hello, everybody. Welcome to Worksoft and Int4 webinar, where we will discover the power of SAP S/4HANA API EDI testing and non-SAP system simulation with Worksoft solutions and Int4 IFTT. Before we will start, a few important informations for you. So session is recorded. You are all muted, and me and AK will be talking. But you got the Q&A tab where you can post your questions, statements, and so on. So we will answer this in the end. And all the this recording of the session and slides that we are presenting today will be sent to you next week. So our agenda for today, we'll introduce ourselves shortly, then quick information why Int4 and Worksoft are working together and what's our goal here. Then AK will show you the Worksoft overview and demo. Then me, I will present the Int4 IFTT platform and demo, and then we will go to use cases and live demo of end-to-end testing. And as I said, after that, we'll get the Q&A session. So, AK, if you can introduce yourself.
Oh, yes. My name is Anand Kameshwaran, but I go by AK. I am the Director of Product Management for Worksoft, and I own the core automation portions of our portfolio. So those are our focus both for automation from a QA and development standpoint, as well as in production with our RPA orchestrator.
Okay, thanks. And myself, I'm Michał Ronka. I am IFTT champion at Int4, also a long-time integration consultant. So APIs and all the EDI stuff and things like this are, my bread and butter. So why we are joining together the forces? Because we are forming a close strategic partnership, because we would like to bring to the market the best of UI and API testing. So UI coming from Worksoft, API testing coming from us, Int4. We would like to provide a intuitive and simple integration between our tools so they can really work together, close the cooperation between product and engineering, work together on this to make it as easy as possible to use, as efficient as possible to use, and promote our companies as the companies that can work easily together, transform and make really complex solutions. And we build it on the Worksoft world's most trusted automation platform, and Int4 really solid and market leader in API automation. So I believe we are in a good shape to go through this journey. And AK, now to you, your part of the presentation.
Hey, thank you very much. Just a little bit of background about Worksoft. We've been in business for over 20 years. Originally, we started really just on test automation around web, but quickly grew a strong practice in testing around packaged applications, in particular SAP. We are used by the largest organizations all around the world. Very proud of the fact that 6 of the 10 the largest organizations who use SAP use Worksoft. Over the past couple of years, we have been expanding our overall portfolio into process intelligence and into production automation. So taking that expertise that we had around automation and packaged applications for end-to-end business processes, and moving that both to the left and to the right in terms of process intelligence, as well as RPA automation in production. So, when we bring together that entire platform, and sort of the reason that we did this and kind of branched out from the core of automation, was really to deliver better outcomes, right? One of the challenges we have with automation projects is most of them do not deliver the ROI that's expected. And so, and the reason for this oftentimes is that we are not automating the right things to get the ROI that we expect. So overall, we're trying to enable companies to, first understand the as-is state for any given business process. Then they can use testing and automation to de-risk all of those changes before they impact those overall business processes. And finally, we want to be able to optimize that process landscape over time, leading to more efficient business processes and easier things to automate with a very long-term ROI and easy maintenance. So we're going to show you a demo in just a moment. Don't like to do too many slides, but in terms of the overall platform, there are several components sort of to the left-hand side. Early on, we talk about process intelligence, where we can combine capture data from the steps users are taking, as well as process mining data to get that view of your as-is processes. We then make recommendations for items that you should be automating for QA. Automate those tests, and then move that all the way into production across the platform. But let me go ahead and show you this in action. So I'm going to, if I can share my screen.
Yes, please.
It is saying you are already sharing your screen and will not let me.
Okay, can you click one more time on screen sharing?
It's still grayed out.
Okay, sorry, I was sharing probably. Can you try now?
Yes, here we go.
Okay, sorry for that.
No worries. I'm going to go through an end-to-end demo of our connective automation platform. We're going to start with tracking ROI impact and ROI potential around process improvement, and then show how understanding your process landscape can help drive your automation roadmap. We'll do this by identifying a manual activity, show how the manual activity steps that humans are doing can be easily recorded, and then how we take those same recorded steps to quickly create automation and tests in pre-production. Then we can share that same pre-production automation to use and consume in production using a digital worker. Finally, we'll return to our ROI for guidance on future optimization and automation opportunities. I'm going to do all of this with a demo customer that is running the full connective automation platform, but it is important to realize that the platform is flexible enough to drive value no matter where you are in your process improvement journey. We start with the Process Intelligence dashboard. Here we can view the entire organization's process landscape. Here is a potential ROI improvement goal and the realized gains moving towards that goal. These realized and potential gains are directed through 3 core modules of business improvement. The Process Optimization module targets and tracks improvements across the activities currently taking place in production today. Here, we leverage process mining data to track the annual effort of our process improvements as we move towards an initial goal of improving our processes by 3%. The Business Process Testing module reflects the realized savings of manual tests that have been automated and executed in pre-production. Each time we increase the percentage of manual tests automated, we are realizing time and cost savings over future test runs. So the realized and potential savings here take annual test frequency into account.
Connective RPA follows the progress made by leveraging the same reusable automation running in pre-production in our production environment. Each time we run processes with a digital worker rather than a human, we are gaining a return on our automation investment, and we set a starting goal of 5% for our production processes. Now, let's take a look at a specific process. Here, we can see our business processes across the entire process landscape. Gone are the process silos. We can now understand what is happening with automation and optimization within a single view. Blue boxes indicate activities where our automation has been executed as testing in pre-production. Green boxes indicate where our automation is running in production. Activities that are blue and green are where we are running tests in pre-production that support the same shared processes in production. White boxes reveal human or manual activities that are potential targets for automation, targets that can be prioritized based on potential gains. For this demo, let's automate one of these activities. To build more shareable automation, we'll first want to capture the human steps digitally if they are not already available. So we know what dropdown was clicked, what was selected, etc. So let's first highlight by data source to see if we already have a capture file for the needed activity steps. And we have already captured these steps digitally, so we are ready to generate shareable automation for this activity. We could generate documentation from that same captured information as well. Notice that we have every step and screenshot from the capture file listed here. So let's queue up this activity for automation. But before we go and build out the automation, I want to show you how quickly and easily we captured the steps. To do this, we used Worksoft's Business Capture. It is lightweight, simple to install, and was designed to easily record and document processes by IT and business users. Whether it's SAP, Oracle, or as we see here with Salesforce, the user clicks record and goes about their normal process routine. While going about their routine, Capture is logging where each step is happening on the page, what step is happening, what data is used, and a screenshot, all in the background. Once the user is done, they click Stop and save the file to the system. The data captured here is leveraged across the platform for future automation development, text execution, documentation, and process insights. And now, with Capture complete, we're ready to turn it into shareable automation. Here, we can see those same captured steps in Automators mode. They're not quite ready yet, so we need to enhance them. A common example is that we need to add a launch process, and we can easily search for that and add it to the front of the test so that we can log in as any user we need to. In addition, the drag and drop of processes and steps helps speed up the building of shareable automation. So we have successfully leveraged the captured step to quickly build automation and are now ready to run the test for that activity and turn that box blue. So here is our automation test suite. Here we can choose where it runs and if we want to run it in parallel with our other tests. We can choose when it runs, one time, on a schedule, or on demand. And then we can also choose who it is we notify if something goes wrong. Once running, we can easily monitor test performance from the dashboard. We can see the pass rate for today, how many tests are currently running in parallel, how many are pending, and then look at the overall test performance, as well as the overall duration over time. This helps to ensure performance visibility as we continue to build and scale out our automations. We can take that same automation being run in pre-production, wrap it in security and governance, and take it to production. Here we can see the production suite from our shared automation, the same automation that has been stable and resilient in pre-prod. Similar step-by-step execution is configured, leading to a last sanity check execution before the final publishing of our process to production. Cradle-to-grave governance and auditability are essential in production automation. Everything is being logged internally. The audit log shows every action taken with regards to a project, the artifacts, the approvals, and much more, and that provides what we need for a compliance framework. When this automation is run in production, it will be production automation that was vetted and tested in pre-prod using the same shared automation. These activities will now show up as blue and green in our process landscape. As we continue to understand our processes and continue to build automation, the platform continues to stay updated with our current process landscape. Whether it's one data source or many, the platform will continue to provide ROI visibility, as well as provide system recommendations to drive continuous improvement. You can expand the top targets for optimization to see which targets could use some attention, which processes are spending the most time outside of the main flow, or simply which processes are taking the longest. PI will also provide automation guidance, surfacing which activities are still being done manually and which of those processes we should focus on for the best ROI. Out of all your business processes, how are you doing? What percentage are still being done manually? What is the associated return on investment for automating the things you still do manually? And it keeps track of all of this, all while keeping an eye on continuing test runs. The system suggested settings extend into production automation, recommending activities that would realize the biggest ROI if performed by digital workers. It also shows which processes are supported by pre-production automation, making them lower risk targets to automate in production. And again, all while monitoring your current digital worker performance. The Connective Automation Platform is a Start Anywhere platform. Leverage the understanding of your process landscape in whatever shape it may be to make better optimization and automation decisions, de-risk the delivery of new development to production, streamline processes, and guide large system transformation projects, and ultimately drive a more efficient process landscape. Process improvement is no longer in silos. This platform allows you to understand, de-risk, and optimize across the entire product landscape.
All right, and just before handing it back to you, Michael, I just wanted to share, among our customers for SAP testing is actually SAP. So they continue to use us today for their UI testing. And it's just nice to see that while we're used by a lot of large organizations, including SAP themselves. So anyway, thank you for having us here. Hand it back over to you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you, AK. Yeah, this is usually, quite a good recommendation if the company that is providing a tool that you are automating is using you also to automate themselves. So that's really nice. And we all see that the UI automation can be really efficient, as AK showed us in the demo, that it can really bring you the value, really high return of investment, and it's pretty obvious that automating things, automated testing, even automating tasks you're doing in production is bringing you value. And here is the place where Int4 IFTT come into play, because there are some processes where UI is not enough. Yeah, because in the growing landscapes, we know that all SAP systems that are backbone of the IT landscape in most of the organizations, especially the big ones, they are really interconnected, and this trend will grow. Yeah, we will see more and more connections, more partners, and so on. And here comes the situation where you've got your SAP project, you gather all the people that you can to deliver it in a good manner, fast pace, and so on. But you are still connected to many systems, many EDI partners, and you need to involve them to be able to test really and to be able to perform tasks that you have. And as everybody knows, it might be tough, yeah, because you are running the project, you gather a whole team, you are ready to go, but it's not common that your partners are running the same project at the same time. So maybe they don't have team, they got only their run team. Maybe somebody go to vacations, or they are really busy with the current maintenance on their side, and your whole project is waiting, waiting till somebody will send you a example message, or if you got the connection to 3PL WMS system, you are waiting for somebody to confirm your delivery, and so on. Yeah, so here we see the classic example of the sales order, delivery, goods issue, billing, OTC scenario. So you see that there are all those green points are places where we are connected, yeah, to some other system. So we got messages going in, like a purchase order that for our organization is a sales order. Then we are sending messages out, expecting messages to go back, and so on. Yeah, so IFTT came into play to virtualize those and automate the testing of those APIs, so you can so you don't need to rely on those external partners anymore. You can run your project on your own pace, relying only on yourself. So we see that, as I said, that those landscapes are getting more and more interconnected, and those third-party applications connections we see in a lot of projects. I can say in most of the projects they are becoming a bottleneck in testing, and at the same time we see that we got increased pressure on agile teams to deliver faster, to produce continuous testing capability, reduce this high cost of maintenance and planning burden. And one of our customers on one of the meetings said to us that try to set up 34 external applications for SIT. Yeah, you are still in SIT, so pretty early in the project. It's not UAT even, and you need to connect those apps. Yeah, if you can virtualize it with Int4 IFTT, then you are much more independent from all the dependencies, all other partners, all other systems, and you can run it by yourself. Here is the key components of Int4 IFTT. So the blue box is representing what is in our scope. Yeah, so we've got the SAP Process Orchestration or SAP Cloud Platform Integration. It can be also other middleware platforms that are connected to SAP backend. So it can be Boomi, it can be yeah, forget the name of this platform. Sorry. And also in this box we got the SAP backend. Yeah, so everything that is happening on the backend. So if you got the IEF interfaces, if you got the BRF plus logic, any customizing you have there for your interfaces. Yeah, so if for example this sales order is going in and you got the customizing to default some fields, pricing, and so on, this is also part of our test, because as you see in this picture, we will be testing business document. So if we start the test by sending and virtualizing this external system and sending message in into our middleware platform, and we will test the business document in the end, we can be sure that everything that is happening in the middleware and everything that is happening in the backend is working correctly. And same way it will work if we are going out. We are starting with the business document that will be created, for example, by UI script in Worksoft, and we will test the external message going out. So in such a test, we will test everything that is happening on the backend. So how the data is collected, how the message is created, and then how the message is transformed in the middleware platform, and even what's the routing there, so which partner will receive it. Okay, so now I will share the screen and show you how easily we can create a test case in IFTT. So I will open the solution manager. I will open an IFTT cockpit. Go to edit mode. I will select the configuration that I got prepared. And now I'm connecting to our PI to fetch the messages. Let's say I will create the 5 test cases. I will save it. So you see that now I created 5 test cases for 5 sales orders going in. I can select them all. First go out from the edit mode, of course. Select them all, execute. And what is happening now? The IFTT is sending those messages into middleware platform. In this case, it's the PO. Those messages are going through PO. They are posted in SAP, and here we can see the results. I can choose, for example, this one. We see that we created the new purchase order reference to be able to create a new sales order document. We are getting this sales order document that was created out. We see who sent the message, to whom. We see the comparison of the XML message, so the transformation of the purchase order into sales order IDOC, and below we see the database tables comparison. Here we see the original sales order to which we are comparing, and here is the currently created sales order. So we see that this is a field by field comparison. We can select here all the tables that are connected. So we got the header of the sales order, the items, partners, and business data tables in our example. And you see that everything is compared field by field. Of course, we provide the functionality of ignoring some fields. For example, we created this purchase order on a fly reference, so we need to ignore it because we know it always be different, same as the sales order number. Some we can put into warning. For example, it's the current time. So of course, we don't want this difference to fail the test case. So that's how IFTT is working in a nutshell if you create a simple test case. But so you see that we can use this to test, but also to virtualize. Yeah, because if somebody would like to create a sales order, simulate the system that is sending the sales order, and start the process, you start after that testing the sales order manually, or continue with creating a delivery for it manually or automatically through the UI script, you need to start this process. Yeah, and IFTT is serving as the virtualization provider for this type of processes. And what is important, the data that we are gathering can be sent to any landscape, any level, any system in the landscape that you have. Yeah, so you can collect this data as on this picture, for example, on a test system, and virtualize your quality connection. You can, for example, fetch those kind of examples and test cases from your production system if you are already running it, and virtualize your connection to test quality and development, assuring that you don't need to connect systems to all the systems in your landscape, create as many external applications connections as you got the levels in your SAP landscape. You can just virtualize it by using IFTT. What's more important, because this is the API-based test case creation, so we create our test data not based on scripts, but based on the messages that we can fetch from the system. We can do it in a massive way, and we provide the robotic crawlers for our for the middleware platforms that can run in the background and collect your test cases in a massive way. Yeah, if you can, it can also be scheduled and create a simple configuration for such objects. So you don't even need to go and create a configuration in IFTT. The robot will run and create this configuration by itself. And then if you need a more complex test, you can enhance it. So how the documents are usually compared? Yeah, if you comparing it manually, or the UI script is comparing them, it's going like field by field, screen by screen. Yeah, so like in this example, if there's a difference in a plant, it needs to be noticed on the screen that, okay, here we got the difference. While IFTT, as I showed in an example, is doing a DB comparison, running this check on all the tables that you would like to connect, all the fields that you would like to check at once. So it's basically and select statements to database. It supports all kinds of rules to ignore, put some warnings, hide some fields, and things like this. So it's much faster than comparing like a screen by screen, because it's a one-time database call that is fetching and collecting the data directly from DB, and this is going into real details. It's not so important if you got the sales order with the 3 lines that I showed you in an example, but if your documents contain hundreds of lines and this DB comparison is comparing those then thousands of fields at once, it's much faster, much more efficient, and I would say much more accurate than any other kind of a check on a document. Because with this check, you can also check the fields that are not visible on the screens, but they are populated in the background, and you got control over them too. So that was like the core mechanisms and what IFTT is about. But we are here to talk about how we can join our efforts with the Worksoft and combine what's best in API testing and UI testing to be able to provide the full end-to-end testing of the business processes. So, sorry. The idea for that is that you should be able to test the whole end-to-end process, no matter if it contains automated steps, manual steps, messages going in and out. You should be able to test everything in such process. Yeah, all the steps, all the documents created, all the messages that are created, they need to be checked, and also all the input messages that are going in should be virtualized in this process. So you should be able to run the whole end-to-end process, like the OTC process from our example, just inside your SAP landscape without connecting to any external system. All that should be virtualized and without any manual intervention, because all the manual actions and things that are usually done by hand in a test or production environment, they should be automated by the UI script. So in here, we would like to combine and all the green XMLs that we see here, those are tasks done by IFTT. So IFTT will send the purchase order in, sales order will be created, then delivery and warehouse picking will be done by the works of the UI script. Then Worksoft will inform IFTT to check the EDI shipment notification that is going out. Then Worksoft will perform billing that will create the invoice document. This will also create the EDI invoice going out, and this should be verified by IFTT. So let me reshare the screen and jump into the system to show this full demo. Okay, that's our previous test. I can close Solution Manager for now. And here I'm in Worksoft Certify, and I got my order to invoice process. We can open it and see that we've got the plenty of steps here defined. So to be precise, this demo will use two systems because Solution Manager is IFTT is installed on Solution Manager. So Worksoft Certify will log into Solution Manager to perform IFTT actions. And we got the SAP S4 backend where Certify will run the UI tasks like creating a delivery, creating invoice. So you will see that Certify is logging into Solution Manager, performing some actions, logging out, logging into S4 backend, performing UI script, logging out, logging back to Solution Manager to run rest of the tasks related to IFTT. And what steps we've got here? Uh, of course, we got the logon steps in between, but first we'll got the step, and I will explain it now because when I will start this in Certify, it will run so fast that we won't be able to follow. So we got firstly sales order going in. So that means Certify will notify IFTT that the message that contains the purchase order should be sent in. That will create a sales order. IFTT will compare the sales order with the reference document, ensuring that first, of course, the sales order is created correctly according to the reference document that is stored in IFTT test case, and bring back the newly created sales order number back to Certify. Certify then will use this newly created sales order to create a delivery and do the picking. When the delivery will be created, the delivery number will be passed to the next UI step, which is creation of an invoice out of this delivery. And then we will log out from S4 backend, log in back to the solution manager, and here we will execute a couple of tasks for IFTT. First one, IFTT will check if the sales order confirmation was sent, and of course if it's sent to the correct receiver and it looks okay, so it will compare the outbound XML. Then it will check the ASN shipment to check if the delivery message related to the delivery is going out. Do the same for the invoice if the EDI invoice goes out. And last two steps, really important one, and I think it's this one shows really how great it can be when you combine Worksoft toolset with the Int4 toolset. IFTT will run the DB validation, so comparison of all the fields in a delivery that was created by UI. So you can, and then we'll run the same step for invoice. So you can imagine that you can run really fast UI script that Worksoft is providing, and you will see that it's really fast and efficient. But then you can use for this recording that creates delivery or invoice, you can run the DB validation test field by field, really fast and efficient way of checking if the document is properly created through IFTT. So you will have the best of both worlds, really working together, checking everything to the smallest detail, and also running and automating and virtualizing things as fast as possible. So now let's run it. I got my whole script here, and let's go. Okay, so we are now in a solution manager. That will be the slowest step because that's the sales order going in. So IFTT needs to wait till it will be created in the S4 backend. And that's it. We got it. And now Worksoft will perform creation of delivery with the picking. Yeah, that's it. And creating an invoice. So you see that the Worksoft scripting is really, light speed. And now it's calling IFTT to collect all the data, check all the outbound messages, check the DB validations, check if everything is sent correctly, posted correctly, and we're done. So all the whole process that I described, all those steps are already done. We can check how long each steps take. So we are talking here in seconds, really for each step. And we can see here that details for all the steps. I created the last step that is collecting all the data here. So we can see the links to all the results provided by IFTT. So sales order creation, sales order confirmation going out, delivery message going out, invoice message going out, and DB validations. We got also all the documents created in the process here. So our sales order created by the virtualization from IFTT, delivery number created by the Worksoft, and invoice number also created by the Worksoft. And in here, we got the pop-up with all the information from IFTT. So we see that the process in Worksoft started with the create sales order. That was the IFTT call. We see the results of this here. We can go into details. So we see the message comparison. We see the database comparison. So we see that we created this new sales order. That number was then provided to Worksoft to create a delivery that we have here. We check that, okay, we got the outbound message for this delivery. It's looking as it should. You see here that this is our reference delivery. That's the sales order. This is this new sales order that we just created being present in this delivery going out message. We see that we got the sales order message going out. This is EDI message, artifact message this time. So you see that we can compare the flat files, also ignore some parts like dates. Yeah, pretty obvious. And the one that I was talking about, the DB assertion check run for the delivery that was created by Worksoft, but the delivery DB check was performed by IFTT. So you got this created, and then you see, okay, my delivery looks good. Yeah, and we've got same for the invoice going out. Yeah, this case a simple message, and of course the DB assertion for the invoice also running here. Yeah, so we see that if you combine Worksoft toolset with IFTT, you can really get the best out of the two worlds. Yeah, because you got this best-in-class solution for UI testing, really efficient tool, and already proven on many projects, as AK pointed. And I myself must say, because that was the first time me working with the Worksoft toolset, it was pretty simple to start, pretty simple to understand, and became a user of this toolset. So that was a fun journey for me. So we got this, and we got virtualization and API testing capabilities that Int4 IFTT is providing. And what is really important, and I would like to share here, is that because of this virtualization capability and API testing capability, you can really get the best out of the UI testing too. Yeah, because you are no longer have steps where you say, okay, how we will now start this process that is starting with API. Yeah. You can run it smoothly using IFTT. IFTT will provide you all the feedback that you need back to continue your process. And then adding to this, it can test your outbound messages, checking, and especially this is important for EDI communication, checking if the right partner is receiving it. if it's looking correctly, if all the pieces fits together, and removing those dependencies on a third-party system is giving really a key feature that is being running the whole project of project like S4 migration on your own pace, without dependencies. You can automate what you would like to automate because you got those two tools that can automate more or less all the processes that you've got. So, okay, you would like to add something, or we can go to Q&A. And you are muted, I believe.
Yeah, let's get to the Q&A.
Okay. Okay, so we can start the Q&A. And how to bring it up? Okay, maybe we can take together this one. Well, what's the value of doing UI testing? For example, delivery creation, can we not do everything through API? And I would like to start and then ask you to add to it. I believe that the value is that with automation, we would like to replicate the process as is. If we are talking about automation of testing, yeah. So of course, it's possible to create all the documents through APIs, yeah. But if for some reason the company decide that, okay, this step is the manual step, yeah, somebody is doing it. Maybe like we got this picking in the warehouse, so somebody needs to check it and really do it, and not just assume that it's all time okay and every time the values are matching, yeah. So the processes are looking like they consist of automated steps, API steps, but still manual steps. And if we do the automation testing and we would like to test process as is before going to production, because we are doing a regression test or we are testing it before going live, we would like to test it as is, not like over automate to the point that we are just creating documents out of nowhere and we are not really testing how it's done on a real system. Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, no, I think that covered it. I mean, at the end of the day, processes are still done manually, right? So when you are trying to do that end-to-end test, you've got to test how it's done. So if you still have users doing things through a UI or through the browser, and it's not fully automated, then you need to test that overall process. So
yeah, and I believe that that's the part that you showed in your demo, that if you are in a place when you are thinking why we are doing this manually during the test, maybe you should ask yourself why we are doing it manually in production then, right? Maybe that's the part that we should fully automate, yeah. Then the tests will be simpler because it will really go automated, and the process in the production will be automated more, so it will go faster. And if we can assume that, okay, that this person is doing this task, but it's really only just copy, paste, click, save, yeah, then there is no like real human validation in it, then it can be automated. And that's I believe your process intelligence is working on this, yeah, to bring this value and inform users that and customers that, hey, this is value here, yeah, this is unnecessary work.
that's it exactly, right? Helps you pick which of these processes are costing you the most by doing them manually. So
yes, exactly. Okay, so we got the second question here: how the license cost versus other tools like Tosca. And from my side, I would say it's not so easy question to answer, because this is not like a product, a simple product that you can buy in a shop. Yeah, it needs to be suited to the customer landscape and enablement and so on. So if you are interested in how our licensing model is working and how the price is looking, please reach out to us after the webinar, and then we can share more details how we are calculating this. But I don't think this is the place for me to share it, at least for Int4 side.
Yes, and I also would not get into the exact price point, but our overall license model is pretty straightforward. It is basically a concurrent user model across all of the capabilities, whether it's PI, testing, test automation, or production automation. With discounts and tiering based on the number of concurrent seats.
Okay. Do we have any more questions? Anybody would like to ask something? Okay, I don't see any more questions in our chat. So thank you, AK, for a webinar, and we see each other on the more friendly time frame for you.
Hey, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah. See you. Bye.